City.
Actually, that's spot on.
It is spot on.
All the competition that try to compete.
Everything is spot on.
Doug Peterson finally made the call to put in Jalen Hurts. We all been knowing it's been coming. They made a second-round pick for a quarterback. We knew this time was coming. Carson Wentz has been playing bad. I think Peterson just got the okay from management, and now it's happening. What do we think the expectations are for Jalen Hurts moving forward? They got a tough matchup with Darian Saints. I want to hear from him first.
I think that when you're looking at Carson, you have people who don't like him. You have people who do like him. And I think that they both kind of come at it from a different standpoints. When you got guys who like him, they'll say he has nobody around him. He doesn't have any weapons. He doesn't have the right system. Then you have people who don't like him. They'll just say that he's been terrible. But the fact of the matter is, you got to combine those two because they're both the truth. See, a lot of times we try to separate these factors as if they're separate entities, and they're not. He doesn't have people around him, but he's also not playing well. You can make a bad situation worse, and that's what he's doing. It's been painful to watch the Eagles over all this time, so what do? They add in Hurts. They put in Jalen. And I'll be real with you. Like I said, they don't have the playmakers. They don't have really the protection, or some of that is on Carson not getting the ball out faster, but the protection has been lackluster at times as well. Who am I to think that it will be all of a sudden be a better situation? Because it's not like Jalen is stepping into a situation like the Saints. We'll just use their matchup. It's not as if one person was struggling with everything good around him. It wasn't. So will he ease the pain? I don't know. But what I do know is that the cards are still stacked against Jalen. So I'll be interested to see. He threw the ball better than he did in college, which was a weak point in his game at Alabama. He definitely, you could tell he's worked with Lincoln Riley and other guys on his way up. You can see it. You seen that deep ball that he threw at the beginning of his stint in the Packer game. But I'm not so sure. I think that if there was any team that was prepared for this game, because a lot of times we talk about a player coming in his first start, there's no tape on him, we'll have it. If there was one team that was prepared for Jalen Hurts to come out and play, I think it is the New Orleans Saints. Why, you may ask? Because their starting quarterback, Taysom Hill, is very similar, in my opinion, to the quarterback that Jalen Hurts will be, at least at the beginning of his career.
So, I don't know how I want to say this. So I don't know if I want to compliment Taysom Hill, but I also think it's disrespectful to put Jalen Hurts in the same breath as Taysom Hill just because they both run. I see Taysom Hill do so much in that offense. I literally see him split out wide, running routes like receivers and catching touchdown passes.
I mean, from a quarterback standpoint.
So if Jalen Hurts may be great value, Taysom Hill, you know what I'm saying? But I think we got to put some respect on Taysom Hill's name, and he's 3-0 as a starter this year. Shout out to him, man. You know what I'm saying? He's doing wonders for our fantasy team. What I will say about the whole Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts situation is I don't think that we should expect much from Jalen Hurts, period. One, just because I simply don't think he's that good. But two, when you look at it, you always see these quarterbacks come in the middle of the season or just kind of backup quarterbacks, and you don't have any film on them. You don't know what to expect. The offense completely changes from Carson Wentz to Jalen Hurts. And so I think he will have some form of success just because defenses don't really know. I mean, you got scout team players probably playing Jalen Hurts, trying to simulate what he can do or what you think they'll do, and you don't know. But I really just think the Carson Wentz situation is sad, and I think it goes really all the way back to 2017 because when you look at Carson Wentz, I still think he's a top 5 talent in the NFL, right? And you can look at what he puts on the field and what's been going on the last couple of years and think that's crazy. But if you just look at his arm talent, the way he can escape pressure, the type of throws that he can make, you can't name 6 or 7 quarterbacks that can make the type of throws that Carson Wentz can in the NFL. Does he make them all the time? No, right? And that's obviously the issue. I think when you look at a situation like Carson Wentz, where his team wins a Super Bowl without him, they build a statue for the backup quarterback in front of the stadium. The players in the locker room build a shrine in the locker room for Nick Foles. Then they come back and the team, and I'm sure that this is probably something they've been seeing for a while. To me, it just looks like a huge lack in confidence, right? Because it's it doesn't even look like the same player that we saw in 2017 who was 3 games away from winning the MVP award, right? And now he's not even playable like on the field. And so I think Darian made a good point, and I think it's our responsibility to not just harp on Carson Wentz, but also talk about everything around him, right? The fact that they took Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, who not only looks like the best rookie receiver in the NFL, looks like a top 15 receiver in the NFL, period. You know what I mean? Like the personnel decisions, the coaching decisions, going for 50% of two-point conversions instead of just kicking the field goals like a normal NFL franchise. You know, ever since Doug Peterson wrote that book, Fearless, he's been a little too fearless, right? And I just think that it's just so much going on in Philly, and Carson Wentz is obviously the scapegoat for it. Like I said, I think these issues have been going on for a while. I'm waiting on one of those big Bleacher Report or the Athletic stories where just everything comes out and half the defense gives quotes about what's been going on for the last 2 years in the organization. Because, I mean, like I said, it's just got to be something more. The last point I'll make is that I really think Carson Wentz's next chapter should be in Indianapolis. I don't know how long Phillip Rivers will be there. Obviously, the last time we saw Carson Wentz and what we thought of him as a good quarterback was with Frank Reich, who was the offensive coordinator, and he left after the Super Bowl, who's now the head coach in Indianapolis. I think that he can regain that confidence, that swagger, and start playing like Carson Wentz form. You know, I still think he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. And the infrastructure that they have in Indianapolis with a great defense, running the ball, great offensive line, they won't ask him to do too much. Obviously, he's comfortable with Frank Reich. So I'm a Carson Wentz fan. Like I said, I really think he's talented. I think that he's gotten the brunt of all of the issues in Philadelphia, and I just don't think that it's all of his fault. And so I would like to see him resurrect his career in Indianapolis. It's going to be hard for the Eagles to get off that contract. I think they would take $55 million in dead cap next season if he's on the team. I mean, he's not on the team, and then 25 the year after that, because his extension doesn't kick in until next year, which is ironic that he's been benched, technically still on his rookie contract after he signed a 5-year, basically max deal in NFL terms. So, like I said, I would like to see him resurrect his career in Indy, just be given another chance, because I think he still has a lot of football left in him.
Before you go, Mia, I'd like to say something real quick. You talk about him picking Reagor over Jefferson, and I just think it's a very important time to highlight one thing about Justin Jefferson, and that's that he went to LSU. All right, go ahead, carry on.
All right, so I think the book is passed for Carson Wentz in Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia, there's blame to go on both sides, right? You can start with the GM, Howie Bozeman, and just go down from there. I think Doug Peterson tried to hold out on throwing Jalen Hurts in the mix as long as he could. And a lot of us were expecting for Wentz to get some burn a long time ago. And it just got to that point where I didn't feel like it was going to change things no matter what it was, because they're in the NFC East and they were just having a bad season all the way around. But Carson Wentz definitely has some fault within that, and I think he just needs a whole new system to be in. We hear rumors about him wanting to do what he wants to do and kind of being stubborn. And in that type of situation, you have to move him out and find a better spot for him to go and play. I think Jalen Hurts has something to look forward to with Philly if they can build a scheme up around him and allow him get him the players that he needs to be successful. He came in this last game against the Packers and threw a touchdown. And that was something Carson Wentz hadn't done the whole game. Carson Wentz only threw for 79 yards up until that point, and Jalen finished the game with over 100 yards. And so with things like that, it's uphill for Jalen Hurts, but I don't know if he turns their season around right now.
Before you wrap, Jamar, I just wanted to pose a question. I think that the question needs to be posed with Jalen Hurts possibly ending the 4 games. Is this his audition tape to possibly be the next quarterback of the Philadelphia?
Heck yeah.
I mean, I think based on the investment, I mean, your second round pick, right? Time you draft somebody in the second round, you're expecting them to damn near start, but if not, play a lot for you, right? And so that type of investment is crazy. We're talking about investment, and Carson Wentz has the 5th highest most guaranteed money in the NFL, right? But I mean, I just think it's Jalen Hurts' time at this point. Like, you got to see what you have. You already know what you have or lack thereof in Carson Wentz, and so I now it's time to see what you have in Jalen Hurts and see if you can move forward with him. But honestly, think it's going to be a lot bigger than Carson Wentz. I think you're going to see almost a full overhaul. Quarterback, head coach, possibly GM. I mean, if you think about it, they really haven't had any type of success since they won the Super Bowl in 2017. I think they won that playoff game against the Bears because the Bears kicker missed a 20-yard field goal, a 29-yard field goal. But outside of that, they haven't done anything since 2017. So, it's a lot of people, still cashing checks off of that Super Bowl, and I think they need to make a big change.
Back half of that question, I wanted to ask: how much of a leash do you think that Jalen Hurts has? If he comes out and he plays poorly in these next 4 games, what do the Philadelphia Eagles do in you guys' opinion? Do they say we've invested a lot in Carson, or do we say we're going to be pretty freaking bad and we can probably get a guy like maybe Zach Wilson?
They've already been really bad. I don't think it gets any worse than this.
Right.
Jalen Hurts is coming in. He's a young dude. Sometimes, even if they're losing, this experience. And if there's a possibility of no Carson Wentz next year, I think you just give him all the time in the world. You look at the Dolphins; they just gave the reins to Tua no matter what the results were. We saw them winning sometimes with Ryan Fitzgerald, but they were just like, no, it's Tua time. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more of an experience thing.
Yeah, you help me out. I got you, bro. I got you.
Go ahead, Mia.
Yeah, you definitely give him enough time to see what he can do. He's came in and produced so far. So, you see what he can do, and then I say give it a season or 2 and see what he can do. It's nothing wrong with drafting another backup to go behind him, but I say you give him time and see what he can do.
I honestly think it should just be Jalen Hurts from here on, at least next season, right? The rest of the season and next season. Everybody's talking about the cap hits and Carson Wentz. Clearly that situation is sealed, right? And one thing we know about quarterbacks, and really I only know this from watching Bears games and seeing Nick Foles on the field and seeing Mitch Trubisky pouting on the sideline for 60 minutes, is that quarterbacks are really fragile, right? And I just don't see how you can bring Carson Wentz back into that locker room next year and have him holding a clipboard all year just so you don't take $55 million in dead cap. I think you just scrap it. You know what I mean? Obviously, they still have a lot of talent on that roster, so they want to try to be competitive. But I think you just try to be competitive as you can with Jalen Hurts and get what you can right now for Carson Wentz, right? You just can't have him coming into the building every day, sitting in those quarterback meetings every day, sitting on that sideline every week, holding that clipboard, right? They're going to continue the media's going to continue to ask him about it every week. It's going to continue to be a bunch of drama. And, I think you got to get rid of him. I think the Carson Wentz era in Philly is over.
Definitely a lot of blame to go all around in Philadelphia. As a Cowboy fan, I would usually love this, but I got to say it's so bad. I even feel bad for him. So we'll see what happens. I honestly think Carson Wentz will be back next year, and there'll be a little battle between Hurts and him. I think Philly still has this secret place in their heart for Carson Wentz. So we'll see. Y'all tell us what y'all think in the comment section. Like up the video and subscribe. We'll see y'all next time.
We thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode. Be sure to check out more shows here on this YouTube page, such as SOS Discussions or My Point Exactly. And most of all,
keep watching Spot On Sports!
it's a new wave of sports that's sweeping the nation. We're not just accurate, it's spot on.